Morning, everyone. Happy Friday from a slightly rainy, a little bit chilly Canada day. I broke out the Canadian flannel because it's a little bit chilly. Got the chill yoga zen music going in the background. I wanted to talk today about something that's been really on my mind for years now and haven't quite known how to articulate it because I didn't want to publicly ever come out with any form of anger, but I think I'm at a good place to share some really constructive advice about how to make this world a safer place for families with autism, living with autism. And I say families with autism, not just the children with autism, because when you have a child with autism, it affects everyone and everything. I know when I first knew that Kaya was developing differently, someone was like, read this poem about going to Holland. People are so well-meaning, and it's like, you thought you were getting on a flight to go to Italy, but you landed in Holland. And Holland is a nice place too, but it's just different. And you're sitting there going, how is this supposed to help me? And it's not actually that you're landing in Holland when you have a child with autism or any disability for that matter. It's that you're literally landing on another planet. All the rules that work for everyone else don't work for us. And I'm not okay with that. And from the time I was young, and when I saw something that wasn't right, I would tell my mom, it's not fair. And she would say, well, life's not fair. And it's true. But I want to do everything I can to make it more fair for myself, for my daughter, and for other families living with autism. So I wanted to talk about 5 ways that we all can help make this world a safer place for families with autism. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was make sure if you have a friend who has a child with autism that you give empathy, not sympathy. So we've all heard Brene Brown talk about empathy. Empathy is when you feel with the person. Sympathy is when you feel bad for the person. I think all parents of children with autism would agree with me in saying the worst thing someone can say to you is, oh, I don't know how you do it. Or, God must have known you were a special person to handle this. It's like, you're talking about my kid. You're talking about my child who I love. So, number 1, no sympathy that is feeling sorry for people. We don't want you to feel sorry for us. I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. I love my daughter. She is such a joy. But what you can do is give empathy. And what does empathy look like? Say, how are you doing? How are you feeling? If there's a way you could help, you could even offer help. Those kinds of things are beneficial. But the pity, you can just rule out the pity. Nobody wants to be felt sorry for. And I understand why people do that. They think they are coming from a good place, but they don't know that actually makes it worse. And along those lines too is you can also say encouragements. I mean, it means so much to me when I hear positive things about Kaya. And that's because when you have a child with any kind of disability, from the time that you start noticing they're different, you hear nothing but negative. It's such a bombardment of negativity. It honestly is almost too much to bear. Had a little cut there, but I think I can edit it together because I'm getting techno savvy. Yeah, so you hear nothing but negative, and that can't help but hurt your own security yourself, because your child is a representation of you, and when all you hear is negative, it really is hurtful. So anytime that you come across a child with autism and you can say something positive about them to their parent, I guarantee you that will make their day. I'm getting teary just thinking about it, and they probably will cry too. So say positive things when you can. That's part of being empathetic. Number 2, it's okay to ask questions if you don't know how to communicate with the child with autism. Kaya is very communicative, but she communicates in a unique way that's different than other children. So it's okay for someone, if you don't know how to communicate with her, to ask me how she likes to communicate. If you meet a family, don't just ignore the child. Ask the parent how they like to communicate, how the child likes to communicate, or how they respond. And if they don't respond right away, they don't seem like they're listening to you, that's okay. The fact that you're making an effort means so much to the parent, and I guarantee it will mean something to the child too. So don't be afraid of asking questions. Don't be afraid of asking what the best way is to talk to the child with autism. Any parent would be happy to know that you really truly care and you want to know about how to communicate and get to know the child. So that's number 2. Number 3, smile. I can't tell you how many times I have been in a store and people stare at me with the rudest looks on their face and just don't smile. I'm like, what is wrong with people? It's clear that now Kaya is doing so much better now, thank the Lord Jesus. But there was a time where every time I went into a store, I knew I was about to have a panic attack. And people would just stare at me, and almost with a mean stare. And it's like, you just want to say, just smile. Like, I'm doing my best. Parents with children with autism are doing their best. Smile at them. A smile will go a long way. Got my little munchkin over here. So number 1, give empathy, not sympathy. Number 2, it's okay to ask questions if you don't know how to relate to the child. 3, smile. If you see a parent in distress, smile at them. And if you feel led, you can even offer help with a smile on your face. Number 4, support organizations that support inclusion for kids with autism. This is a huge, huge problem that really needs to change for the mental health of the family and the mental and physical health of the child. I get to go to the gym because it's a priority to me and because my mom watches Kaya when I go. Not everyone has that luxury. There is currently not anywhere I can just drop Kaya off at a childcare and go to the gym because she's not afraid, but she gets really sad when babies are crying. So it's difficult. So I'm currently actually trying to help get some gyms to have sensory childcare, and it's on my radar to even help church get sensory Sunday school. But I can't do this alone. I need your guys' help, and other moms need help. I was just talking to another mom the other day. Oh, Kaya, sit down. Papa, go sit down. I was just talking to another mom the other day who, I wonder if I can edit out that, who wants to go to the gym, but she can't because she doesn't have someone to watch her child. And this has physical repercussions too, because moms aren't getting the exercise that they need that is so vital for their physical and mental health. So wherever you go to the gym, wherever you go to rec centers, please ask them if they are supporting children with autism, and if they're not, ask them why, and ask them what they plan on doing about supporting them. Because if every single person asks that question where you go to the gym, it'll start to change and it'll start to help families. The more places that families with autism can go, the better, because I don't know if most people are aware of this, but right now there's just very, very limited options. And that needs to change. We all need to advocate for the children and families with kids with autism. Because you know what? The truth is, no one knows when it's going to affect them in one way or another. So let's make this world a safer place right now. Okay, so number 5, teach your children to be communication investigators. So one of my wishes is that I don't actually want another child, but I wish I had a neurotypical child because I would love to teach them how to be a friend to a child with autism. I don't have a neurotypical child, but I would like to tell you what I would teach my child if I did. And first of all, the lesson that everyone is different and that's okay. And then the next lesson is that to teach them that children with autism like to play just as much as they like to play. But they speak differently, they communicate differently. So you can teach your child to be a communication investigator. and have them maybe spend time with a child with autism. Say, what do you think they're trying to say when they're doing such and such behavior, or if they're doing this motion? What do you think they're trying to communicate? Let them be curious about it. Let them guess. Make a priority for your child to spend time with children with autism so that they develop that compassion and empathy at a young age and carries into their adulthood. Wouldn't that be amazing? So those are the 5 things. I hope that's helpful. Please feel free to share this because the world does need to become a safer place for families living with autism. The way it is right now, honestly, it's not acceptable. We need to be able to go places and not be stressed out, and be able to go to the gym and not have to coordinate everything so our child can be watched so we can go to the gym. It can change, and it can start with all of us just making small little adjustments. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments box. I'm happy to help, and I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day making this world a safer place for families living with autism.